Shanti, Shanti, Hari Om. Betiye, let's resume our seats. And this morning, as we join with members of the group, let us blend our voices together as we glorify Bhagwan, starting with Kirtan, glorifying Ganesh Bhagwan. Let us all join together.
Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai 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 Vinashaka, Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka, Jai 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 Gananayaka, Jai Jai Vigna Vinashaka,
प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय. At this juncture, as we customarily would do, we would have rendered the verses of Hanuman Chalisa. And again, I invite us all to join with members of the group. Following Hanuman Chalisa, slight change, we will go straight into Gita Dhyanam thereafter. And I'll ask the group. So after Chalisa, we'll go into Gita Dhyanam. So please let us all join together as the musicians get themselves ready in rendering verses in praise of Mahabir Swami as we now join together in Hanuman Chalisa.
Sri Guru Charana Saroja Raja Nijamana Mukura Sudhar Barano Raghuvara Bimala Jasu Jodayak Palachar Buddhihina Tanu Janike Sumiro Pavana Kumar Bal Buddhi Vidya Dehu Mohi Harahu Kalesha Vikar Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Jai Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar Jai Kabir Siddhu Lok Ujagar Ramadut Atulit Baladhama Anjani Putra Pavan Sut Rama Mahavir Vikram Bajrangi Kumati Nivar Sumati Ke Sangi Kanchana Varana Viraj Subesha Kanan Kundal Kunchit Kesha Bolo Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Hath Vajra Aur Dhwaja Virajai Kandhe Mujh Janeru Sajai Shankar Suvan Kesari Nandan Tej Pratap Mahajagvandan Vidyavan Guni Ati Chatur Ram Kaj Karibe Ko Atur Prabhu Charit Sunibe Ko Rasiya Ram Lakhan Sita Man Basiya Bolo Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Sukshma Roop Dhari Siyahi Dikhawa Vigat Roop Dhari Lanka Jarama Bhima Roop Dhari Asur Sanhari Ramchandra Ke Kaaj Sabari Gaye Sajeevan Lakhan Jiyaye Shri Raghuveer Harsh Ur Laaye Raghupati Kini Bahut Badhaaye Tuam Priya Bharatani Samabhaaye Bolo Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman Sahas Badan Tumharo Yash Naame As Kahi Srimati Kandan Gaave
संकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा नारद सारद सहित गीता
Yam
वेद दिगपाल चाहते कवि को विधि कही सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीव ही कीना राम मिलाए राज पर दीना
Bolo Jai
हनुमान श्री हनुमान जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान
Tumharo Mantra
भीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु लील्योताहि मधुर पल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेरे मुख माही जलधि आंग गए अचरज नाही दुर्गम काज जगत दीजे सुगमारो ग्रह तुम्हारे थे
Bolo Jai Hanuman Sri Hanuman चुरावे, महावीर जब नाम सुना। बोलो जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। नासै रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट से हनुमान चुरावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है परसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुआरे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दास। बोलो जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंतकाल रघुबर पुर जाई, चाह जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चिंतन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। बोलो जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो शत बार पाठ करे कोई, छूट ही बंध महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जयनाथ हृदय महादेव। बोलो जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। जय संकट हरना, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। बोलो जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। राम भक्त जय जय हनुमान, राम भक्त जय जय हनुमान। जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान। जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान, जय हनुमान श्री हनुमान।
प्रेम से बोलो श्रीमबीर स्वामी की जय। जय बजरंग बली, जय 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 हनुमान। As we prepare ourselves for the observance of Gita Jayanti next week, I invite us all now to join together with members of the Kirtan group as we are led in verses of Gita Dhyanam, as we customarily would do, and I hand over now to members of the group.
ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं, व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना। मध्ये महाभारतम्, अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादश विशाल बुद्धि फूलारविन्दायत पत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्त प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः सर्व उपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दना पार्थो वत्ससुधीर्भोक्ता दोग्धां गीतामृतं महः वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचारूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरु
Prem Swali Bindraban Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Just before I invite the children down to the Bal Vihar class, just a reminder for next week. So, as has been announced by Pandit Dev for the preceding weeks, we will be celebrating next Sunday, or observing rather, Gita Jayanti, which is on the Monday, but we will be doing it next Sunday. And as part of this year's exercise, the recitation of Bhagavad Gita will be done by various individuals and families using the English script from the Gita Press Bhagavad Gita, that is the yellow copies that are at the back of some of the benches, and copies that are available, and I'm sure all of us would have copies. Thus far, so the Gita Dhyanam would lead us off. So next week's service will be slightly different. We will start at the usual time, and the usual time is, I just want to make sure we're on the same page because I think we have different times, right? So the usual time at the start of our service is 8:30 a.m. Excellent, 100 marks, right? So we start at 8:30 a.m. in the usual fashion. We'll have a very special speaker next week, and that would be none other than someone who we're familiar with. He's been here before several times, Sant Vigraha Das from the ISKCON movement, and members of his group hopefully will be here, and he will be doing the pravachan from 9. So 8:30 to 9 in our usual fashion with opening Chalisa and so on. And then from 9, he will be doing a very special message. And we will have Archie and so on as well. But immediately following that, we will begin the recitation of Bhagavad Gita. And the chapters have been assigned, and I think there have been volunteers. There is one change, and I will be asking for a volunteer this morning. So chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita will be commenced by Pandit Devendra and his family. Chapter 2 by the Babulal family, so Vishnu Jani and others. You're on chapter 2. Chapter 3, Dr. Gyan, and I spoke with him up to yesterday, so he's on, and his family for chapter 3. Chapter 4, Dr. Verinder and his family, so Shivma and others. You all are on for chapter 4. Chapter 5 of Bhagavad Gita, the Bahadur family. I need a volunteer now for chapter 6 because the family who was assigned is unable. So just mull it over a little bit before I volunteer someone. So chapter 6, we need a volunteer for that chapter. Chapter 7, Dr. Rampasad, Srindra Rampasad and members of his family. Chapter 8, Shrida Chandrajit and her family. Chapter 9, Kaylee. I'm not seeing her here this morning, but I know Kaylee has been here before. So she's doing chapter 9. Chapter 10, Krishna Maharaj and members of his family. Chapter 11, Yamunaji, you will be doing chapter 11. Chapter 12, Prashant Ji and family. Chapter 13, Ravi and Jaya, Isha and Arya. So I'm looking forward to hearing Arya reciting. Chapter 13. Chapter 14, Kriya. You are on for chapter 14. Janu Achi is on chapter 15. She's not here this morning, but was here last week. Randy Sinanan is on chapter 16, Kari Singh, chapter 17, and Sunita Das and family, chapter 18, and then I will conclude with the Mahatmya. So we need a volunteer for chapter 6. I have a volunteer, Pat. Very good, excellent. So Pat is volunteering. And the homework for everybody else who did not volunteer is to familiarize yourself with all 18 chapters. Because in the event, God forbid, somebody is not able to turn up, then I will just come to you randomly, knowing that you've prepared, because I've said it this week, and say to you, okay, you will be doing this chapter because somebody has fallen off the schedule. So just be on standby, particularly the younger ones who are not here. I will be coming to you first in terms of filling in the event that doesn't happen. And when we conclude with that and our concluding mantras and so on, after that, refreshments, lunch will be served for everyone. So this is the format for next week. So any excuses about having to cook lunch goes out the window. Yes? Any excuses of persons who are at home usually and won't come because they're expecting lunch, well, they can expect the lunch here. So we're encouraging everyone to please attend and participate. Familiarity with verses of Bhagavad Gita redounds to the benefit of us all. It fortifies us in times of need particularly, and it allows us that realization of our true selves at all times. So having said those instructions or reminders, I now would invite the teachers of the children's class to take the children of the Balvihar class downstairs. I think the children are doing special mantras as well next week from chapter 4, I believe. No? Yes? Yes, so they will be doing that. So the teachers of the children's class, we invite you to take the children down. As we commence for pravachan this morning, I will ask us to sit upright and to gaze at the Murti of Krishna Bhagavan for one moment. Let us keep our spine erect. Om Shri Krishnai Govindai Namo Namaha. We gaze at the feet of Krishna Bhagavan. Allow our gaze to move slowly upwards. His legs, his thighs, his chest, his arms, to the smiling face of Bhagavan. We see that he's holding the basuri, and we listen to that very melodious sound. His head is adorned with the peacock feather, and Bhagavan is all graceful, all merciful. Let us close our eyes now, and for a moment listen to that transformative sound of the basuri. We lose ourselves in that supreme bliss that is Bhagavan. We are in His very majestic presence, where we prostrate ourselves before Him in all humility, with all love. We offer to you, Prabhu, all sankat, all difficulty, all sorrow, all sickness. We offer to you all troubles of the body, all afflictions of the mind. And we know that through your blessing, through your grace and inspiration, that we would be uplifted, we would be invigorated, and through your grace we would be able to navigate this life, this ocean of mundane existence. Om Namo वासुदेवाय बोलो ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम श्री कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः प्रेम से बोले वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय. We open our eyes once more, rub our palms together, rub over our face and our entire body, retaining that divine energy. Bhagavad Gita, as has been told to us, is one of those seminal scriptures of Hindu tradition, of Sanatana tradition. 700 verses recited by Krishna Bhagwan to Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We know this. We know as well that even as recited in Gita Dhyanam, the verses themselves contain the very essence of the Vedas and Upanishads. And it provides us all with that prescription as to how we conduct ourselves each and every moment of each and every day, of every week, of every month, of every year that we exist. And by following those prescriptions and those teachings, it would rid us and our mind of those illusions of the things that we deem important, would allow us to realize who we truly are and what our true purpose is, and by so doing uplift not only ourselves but those around us, and drawing ourselves closer and closer to Bhagwan. In a very summary way, these are the things that we should be mindful about. This morning I just want to focus on two shlokas on different parts of Bhagavad Gita that I think bear some significance to us, particularly around this time of year. And it is something that we should be mindful of, and I will, with your leave, address it primarily in English. So the first one comes from chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and the family that is reading chapter 2 is the Babulal family, so they will pay particular attention. Chapter 2, verse 31. And in this shloka, Krishna Bhagwan tells to Arjuna, considering your dharma, you should not waver. For a warrior, nothing is higher than a war against evil. Krishna Bhagwan says this to Arjuna. Considering your dharma, you should not waver. For there's nothing that is higher than a war against evil. Contextually, this was the time when Arjuna, having been placed to position on the battlefield, recognized the persons that he was actually going to engage in battle. That they were his elders, they were his family members, they were persons who were known to him. They were not strangers. And then recognizing that reality, and remember who Arjuna was, a very valorous, very brave, very renowned warrior. Recognizing the situation, at the end of chapter 1 of Bhagavad Gita, he slumped down in the chariot. He dropped his bow and his arrows, and he professed that he was unable to continue. And in chapter 2, Bhagwan relates many things to him about the indestructible nature of the soul, about the reality that life is. And he goes on in this particular verse to tell Arjuna, considering your own dharma, you should not waver. Brothers and sisters, when we ask the question of what is dharma, very often the response is, so if I were to ask anybody, what is dharma? The word that comes to mind is, it's my duty. Not so? So very often we think that dharma is duty. But dharma, while it is true is duty, is not only duty, it means a lot more than that. It connotes so much more. Because think of who Arjuna was. Can we say that the dharma of Arjuna was the same as the dharma of Dhritarashtra? Was the dharma of Arjuna the same as the dharma of Yudhishthira? Was the dharma of Arjuna the same as the dharma of Krishna Bhagwan? The duty that an individual has, or dharma, emerges from who you are. It emerges from where you are, and it emerges very critically of what that moment requires of you. So your dharma emerges firstly from who you are. It emerges from where you are, and it emerges from what that particular moment demands of you. When I say who you are, it is important for us to understand that while we are all the same, we are still different. And that is important for us to bear in mind. It applies to everyone. There are differences that exist in each and every one of us, in some form or in some fashion. We are not identical. Even identical twins are different. There was a meme flowing recently about identical twins. Somebody sent to me, and you saw two little children who were twins and exposed to the same stimuli, how they would respond very differently. One would be smiling and one would have a frowny face. Same children, twins, who should be identical, they should react the same, but they're different. You would have one child, for example, who would put blocks in a particular order, make sure they're color-coded and they all line up, and the other one straight all over the place. You have a child, when they're eating, they don't want the dal to mix with the rice. They want the bhaji separate, and you have another one that will mix up everything and eat it. So there are differences that accrue to us regardless of the sameness. And so our dharma emerges from who we are. At a higher level, we must recognize our station in life. So the dharma of a child is very different from the dharma of a teenager. The dharma of a teenager is very different from that of a young adult. The dharma of a young adult is different from that of a parent, and so on. And sometimes we get those roles and functions, or dharma, a bit confused. And that leads to difficulty. So sometimes it is, we say as parents, you may tell a child, you're playing big, meaning that that child has now removed themselves from being a child into being an adult or behaving like an adult. And sometimes that's not the best thing, because one, they have not yet matured sufficiently, either physically, emotionally, or mentally, to fulfill that role. They definitely would not have the experience of an adult, and when they behave in that fashion, it becomes very disrespectful to their elders. So persons need to know who they are. Yes? When parents in turn forget that they are parents and try to parent in a fashion where, well, I'm my son or my daughter's partner, and I'm not a parent, then that leads to a problem later on. Because the kind of example, the kind of respect, the kind of discipline that ought to be inculcated in the young mind becomes very blurred. And we could speak about many other examples in that nature. So it is also very critical for us to understand what our dharma is in terms of who we are. It is also important, as I said, to understand where we are. Because again, our position and where we are and what we do is important in terms of how we profess ourselves to be. So if, for example, Pandit Dev were to come here dressed in judicial robe, it would not connote with who he is at a particular function, in a particular fashion. Many of you all enjoy certain other types of functions on a daily basis, but that's not going to be blurred in terms of where you are and what you're required to do. And then what the moment demands of you. What does the moment demand of you? So for Krishna Bhagwan, Arjuna, that moment demanded of him to recognize, one, who he was. He was a warrior in essence. Where was he? He was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra in the middle of a very important event, one that would have been life-changing for thousands of persons. And importantly as well, the importance of him understanding what the moment demanded of him. And that moment demanded of Arjuna to stand up and to fulfill his purpose. Sometimes we are, as individuals, not sure of what the moment demands of us. We are put in a difficult situation, whether we are a young person, being faced with peer pressure, whether we are a parent being confronted with a problem with a child and we don't know how to deal with it. And in those circumstances, we very much feel like Arjuna to give up and to slump down. But Bhagavad Gita tells us that we need to fortify ourselves with the Word of God and to ensure that we carry on even further, that we do what the moment demands of us. And if we think about it for a moment, in each day of our lives, regardless of who we are, regardless of where we are, we ought to know what the moment demands of us. Think of yourself driving a car. And this is a very simple example that seems very obvious. If you are approaching a traffic light, and as you're approaching, you're seeing the light turning from green to yellow, what does that moment demand of you? For some, they will say, well, smash the X and fly through, right? But that is not what the moment demands of you. The moment demands that you should stop if you can. And very often we can, but we choose not to. And that decision that we make in a split second can cost lives. Far worse from people who see it red and still go through, as an example. So what does the moment demand of us? When you are in a situation, for example, where persons are agitated, they're angry, they're upset, do you think that moment demands of you to be even louder and more angry and more upset? That moment demands a different type of reaction. A calm demeanor, sometimes even moving away for a bit to allow that person to settle before you engage. And very often, that's not what we do. I've always heard this saying said to me, when you have to shout, you know you've lost control. When you have to shout, you know you have lost control. I know as a parent, when my kids were small, I used to shout all the time. And I recognized in those moments that I have lost control. And it really required pausing, thinking about it, stopping and going again. And I'm sure all parents can recognize those moments. Not that you should not be firm, but when you have to shout, you have lost control. Think about it in any context that you're in. Whether it's in the home, out in public, in the workplace. We see it in Parliament all the time, people shouting at each other. And that is a horrible example. So it's something that we should bear in mind in terms of Krishna Bhagwan and what he says to us. The second shloka I want to remind us of, particularly around this time, comes from chapter 3, verse 35. So, who is reading chapter 3? We have lost that. Chapter 3 is being done by, oh yes, Dr. Gyan is not here. Right. So in chapter 3, verse 35, Krishna Bhagwan tells to Arjuna, it is better to perform one's own dharma imperfectly than to perform another's dharma perfectly. I'll repeat that. It is better to perform your own dharma imperfectly than to perform somebody else's dharma perfectly. He goes on to say, it is better to die in one's own dharma. Another's dharma is dangerous. And the words from Gita Press are similar. And this would be the ones that would be read next week, where he says, one's own duty, though devoid of merit, is preferable to the duty of another well performed. Even death in the performance of one's own duty brings blessedness. Another's duty is fraught with fear. And I want to say this in the context particularly of young people. Recently in Australia, there's a ban on social media across the board for young people, what age? 16 and under. All social media for young people aged 16 and under. And their accounts have now begun to be deactivated. I think the cutoff date is 4th of December. Australia. They have recognized, while social media is an excellent tool, the prejudicial or damaging effect, particularly on young people, and what has happened and what is happening currently. And they have taken a conscious decision, despite the protestations of the providers and so on, to ban social media. Now, I'm sure if I were to ask any young person, Varad, how old are you? How much? 13. Aditya, how old are you? 13. You in favor of banning social media? No. Right? Obviously, that's the obvious response. They will say no. Quite logically. And I don't expect them to say yes. Now that gives me 2 points to look at. One is, at that age, quite rightly in their mind, because that's their dharma at that age, they will think the benefit of social media outweighs the prejudicial value. And they're quite right in thinking that, because at 13 years old, that is their dharma. But as a parent, we are older, we are wiser, we are more experienced, and we do know, that constant exposure to social media is not beneficial for anybody, more so developing minds. It is not beneficial to anybody, ourselves particularly included, more so for young minds. Our dharma as parents and as leaders is to sometimes make interventions that benefit the party that we are in custody of, even though it's unpopular, but it is for their benefit in the long term. Now, if we abandon that dharma as a parent, we say, yeah, child, you're turn 9, you're approaching common entrance or SEA, sorry, you need everybody else in your class have a smartphone, you take one too. And you, all right, you know what, we'll have a little bit of control. Once you pass SEA, you could be on anything. You could be on Twitter, you could be on Meta, you could be whatever you want. What, X? Sorry, yes, X, my apologies, right. See how out of it I am? You could be on anything you want because you think that you are rewarding that young person, but you're not. You are actually condemning them to a lot of problems. And I want us to think about, within recent times, within the last decade and probably a little bit more, the proliferation of violence that we've experienced, particularly in schools. You know, back in the day when in Pizza Hut, they used to have these machines, and it used to be what? Tour of duty and all these little things that you put in a token, and somebody pops up with a gun and you shoot in whatever comes in your way. Even at that time, I had a problem with that. And I still have a problem with games like that, regardless of what young people will tell me. Fortnite is a particular one I have singled out, where the main essence of that game, don't tell me hand-eye coordination. It is destroying something or destroying someone. That is the salient essence of it. And when you expose a young mind to that consistently, and I'm just talking about gaming now, when you expose a child to that consistently, then it damages them. In Australia, the Prime Minister has said, we are doing this to allow children to be children. And I'll repeat that. We are doing this to allow children to be children. How many parents now insist that their children go outdoors and play? Go in the yard, take some sun, kick a ball, bowl a ball, a cricket ball, play some basketball, do something physical. Go and climb a tree. Go and explore, eat some dirt. Build your immune system. Eat a spider. I'm just saying in terms of that. We have become so now attuned. And I'm saying it, we have first child syndrome all the time. First child, they can't touch nothing. You're with a wiping their hand if they do anything. You're screaming at the top of your lungs if something goes in their mouth. By the time the third child come around, well, yeah, man, dust off the spider and get them at the end. The point I'm trying to make is that think about what has happened as a result of that behavior. The older ones, think of yourselves when you were younger and the things that you all did as young people, going in the yard and doing things like that, and how much more beneficial it has been. Child obesity is a big thing because our children are now sitting in front of devices, drinking all kinds of sugary things, eating all kinds of sugary snacks, and they're not getting the physical activity that is meant. Not everybody, but generally. Now you take that up a notch, where you have children who are doing these things, and you have now social media bullying. You have social media bullying. And whereas in my day, yes, there was bullying existent, but it was when you were physically in front of somebody who was a bully, and you could have physically avoided that. Once you have these things in your hand, the bullying is at you 24/7, 365. It's coming at you all of the time. And it's in your face. You don't have a chance to shut off because you are so addicted as a young person to these devices that you have to check and see what's going on. And this is not only for teenagers and primary school students. This is happening at university and postgraduate institutions as well. And I'm saying this from direct knowledge. I'm not speculating on this. That level of bullying is taking place. And what is the effect of that? You are condemning a generation to mental distress and trauma. You are condemning a generation to mental distress and trauma. But that's not what I want to get at. I want to come back to what he said. So I'm just telling you of what happens now in terms of dharma and performing your own dharma. So as children, your dharma is, and as young people, to be childlike and to be like a young person. As in local parlance, don't be force ripe. Don't be force ripe. Allow yourself the time to grow. I'm not commenting on anybody here. Imagine you see a 9-year-old or a 7-year-old in normal deportment. I'm not talking about any performance and thing. Be decked with makeup. Really? A 9-year-old or 8-year-old or a 10-year-old, is that really something we need to do? Our children are beautiful as they are. Everybody is beautiful as they are. There's no need for the additives. I remember Pandit Sharma, who used to be here many years ago. You know what he used to call cosmetics? Costly mestics. Because it's costly, and sometimes they make a mess of things. Plain talk, bad manners. But why are we doing that to children? Why are we not letting children be children? As an adult, are we not abandoning our dharma? Are we not allowing the children to be children and to be young people? Think about it and think about where that leads that young person who has not yet matured, who has not yet grown up, who is still evolving and developing. What are we doing to them? You're not looking good enough, so I need to fix you up more. That's the message. Whether we want to admit it or not, that is the message. And now it leads itself to another thing. Whenever you see pictures on social media, whether it is because it's censored pictures, meaning that I might take 1,000,000 pictures, but I will only put up the best picture of myself. I'm not putting up any picture of me with a half smile, or a crooked smile. I'm seeking out the best picture. I am also going to apply all of the filters to make me look even better. No blemishes on my skin. I look absolutely model-like. And look what happened to the poor model, Miss Jamaica. Right? Feel so sorry for her. She's in hospital. Still not recovered. The point I'm trying to make now is that we see these images of everybody. The food you're eating, a perfect plate with everything you could think about it at all times. The perfect scenery. Somebody is in a wonderful sunset on top of a hill on some kind of luxury thing. the perfect everything that's coming at you. And so when I am seeing that and digesting it, I'm thinking that everything in my life, from how I look to where I go to what I wear to what I eat, must also be perfect all the time. The authenticity is lost. That's the point I'm trying to make. The authenticity is lost because we are now being attached to somebody else's dharma. We are now being pointed not in ourselves and authentic selves. I have gray hair, I'm balding. You know what? I am fine with that. You know how much people tell me, why don't you dye your hair? You're looking old. Well, I am old. I'm 55 years old. I don't care because this is who I am. I am good in my skin. Why are you growing a beard? You're looking old, shave that off. Pranam. I'm okay with who I am. But for many people, particularly young people, they haven't gotten to that point where they are comfortable in their skin. And therefore, they are now being pulled and pushed in all directions because of what is appearing on other people's social media, what is their dharma. Long ago before social media, and I'm sure the older ones like me, even if you don't want to admit it, there was a saying, keeping up with the Joneses. Remember, ever heard that saying, keeping up with the Joneses? So your neighbor paint their house, I have to paint my house too. Your neighbor buy a car, I have to buy a better car than that. My neighbor wearing a nice kurta, I have to get a better kurta than that. And that was simply by visual looking on an off chance. Now multiply that 1,000,000 times over where somebody is on social media and getting bombarded with this all of the time, every time. And you understand exponentially what I'm saying now. So in so doing, it is important for us to perform our dharma, even if being done imperfectly. Even if I don't look like the most buffed person going to the gym all of the time. That buff person, you know what they're doing? Filter, pulling in the stomach, doing all kind of pose there so they could look good. When they exhale, you're seeing the belly flying out. But you're not seeing that. You are seeing the perfection, and so you drive yourself to say, I need to be better. I need to be skinny like a stick. How many people have condemned others and say, hey, you're looking fat, You're putting on some weight there and they come and feeling up your belly. Why are you doing somebody that? That is not your dharma. Feel up your own belly and tell yourself, how are you feeling? That's the point I'm trying to make. We are not comfortable in our own dharma. And instead, we are living vicariously through other people's dharma. And that leads itself, I'm not saying this, Krishna Bhagavan is saying this. That leads to destruction, and his word is, it is dangerous. Particularly as we approach this time of year, Christmas season. Well, we're trying to turn our blood into water and do all kind of different things because we have to keep up. We have to do so much extra. We have to do so much more. And in doing that, we are abandoning our true selves. Our young people are being exposed to all kinds of challenges as a result of it, which are not in their best interest. So if I had to leave with two things, I would say, firstly, dharma differs from who we are, where we are, and what is required of us. And we must think about that. Who we are, think of who you are. Think of where you are, and think of what is required of you in that situation, because we all know that is our dharma. And we must be comfortable in our own dharma and not be living vicariously or imitating somebody else's. Do you think, and I will end here, that I could go to San Fernando General Hospital, walk in the surgical ward and say, you know what, I'm a doctor. Look, I dress the part, I have a stethoscope and whatever else. And then try to attend to a patient? That's not my dharma. I could go into a courtroom because I'm well equipped to deal with that. I could go into a classroom and teach law. That's my dharma. Why should I be coveting somebody else's or trying to imitate that? That's not my dharma. And I'm just using that as a very obvious example to instruct us about what we should be doing. So young people, you need to be confident and comfortable in yourselves. As a young person, you should not be swayed, and if you are, reach out to the people who can guide you, your parents, because they have the experience and they have the love for you. And we should not be pursuing those things that are not really suited to ourselves, but are those of other people. Leave them. Let they follow their dharma, and let us follow our own. These are some of the thoughts that come from Bhagavad Gita. And every time we read Bhagavad Gita, every time we get exposed to it, more reveals itself to us. More and more reveals itself to us, and we continue to be edified and uplifted. Prem Swale Bindraban Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Let us all come forward now and offer our arti to Bhagwan as members of the group engages in Kirtan.
लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था विधिना लखियाले
खललाते साचा थाय थाय था
विधिना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था
विधिना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था
शरवण का बदलने पर दो सेवा मात पिता ने कर दो
शरवण का बदलना पर दो सेवा मात पिता ने कर दो तिरते तिरते दगला भर दो चलियो जाय जाय जा विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था
सेवा मात पिता ने करवा श्रावण छायो पानी बरवा सेवा मात पिता ने करवा श्रावण छायो पानी बरवा गजुलो भरता मृगना जीव शब्दो थाय थाय था विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था दशरथ मृगयारम वावे सोने शब्दो बान छलावे दशरथ मृगयारम वावे सोने शब्दो बान छलावे बाने शरवण नो जीव चायो जाय जाय जा विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था अंध मात पिता ददवदना दीधो सर्प जमरता मरता अंध मात पिता ददवदना दीधो सर्प जमरता मरता दशरथ मरसो पुत्र बोयागे धोकर खाय खाय खा विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था चारे राम जीवन साचरिया दशरथ पुत्र वियोगी मरिया चारे राम जीवन साचरिया दशरथ पुत्र वियोगी मरिया अमरुत कह दे दुख ना दरिया क्या उबराय जाय जा विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था विधि ना लखियाले खललाते साचा थाय थाय था
We'll have one more item before we conclude with announcements. Prem se bole Mahapati Mahadev ki jai. Let us, acknowledge Varad and that wonderful item on the violin. And remember, he placed first in his category at secondary school Sanskrit Sangam held last week. Our announcements this morning. So again, we want to acknowledge everyone who's attended this morning and to extend a very warm welcome to each and every one of you. Those of you who are looking on at our puja and satsang this morning online, we look forward to seeing you physically with us, unless, of course, you are beyond the shores of Trinidad and Tobago. But beyond that, we invite you to join with us in physical fellowship on a Sunday morning as we come together as one family. So we really do urge you to make the effort. It redounds to your benefit and that of your family. Those of you who would like to sit on a Sunday morning to perform puja or havan, you are asked to see Mrs. Rama Shama Umrao, and she will take your names to facilitate that happening. Those of you who would like to make donations as well to the upkeep and upliftment of the Mandir and its environment and facilities, again, you are asked to see any member of the management committee. Mr. Sinanan is there, Mr. Maraj is there, Mr. Shama Umrao is there. So you can see any member and give of your donations, and we ask you to do so generously. I want to express thanks to our wonderful devotees. So at the back of the Mandir, just in front of the media booth, you will see we have a water cooler that has been donated by a devotee, and that water cooler is there for our benefit, and it was with a move towards a hopefully not too distant future to avoid the use of single plastics and beverage containers of that kind. So the blue water bottles, of which I'm guilty of having one this morning, or any other similar bottles, we are trying to move away from that. Far too often when we have functions and these are distributed, I myself and others would go around the tables or on the floor or everywhere else and pick up these bottles that are half used, throwing away the water, watering the plants, yes, but they litter the environment. And when you look at what's happening in our water courses and in our oceans, we really need to move away from these things. So this is a first step in that direction, and we hope to install more so that when you come, you'll get a paper cup or something that can be reused, and you would then utilize that instead of having these bottles all around the place. So thank you to that devotee, whose name I will not call, for that donation and in putting us in that direction. I also want to extend thanks to all of the wonderful devotees, all of you, who've contributed towards the relief effort in Jamaica. Collections were had, joined with the Sri Civic Sabha, and those donations were taken across this week gone to Jamaica, and the head of the National Council of Indian Culture in Jamaica, the equivalent of our NCIC here, Mr. Tokan, has expressed personally his gratitude because it would have gone to them for distribution as well. So they wanted to extend gratitude to the devotees of the Mandir for your generous contributions. I know many of you also would have given to other organizations, your places of work and so on. And let us bear in mind that our brothers and sisters have been devastated by this hurricane. 24,000 homes have been destroyed. So their relief efforts is going to take a while in coming back up to par. Even those places that were spared, homes and so on, and utility lines and water and electricity, things that we take for granted, those things have been severely disrupted. So we want to extend thanks to all of you for that effort. Again, religious calendars are on sale, and as was announced by Dr. Mitra Maharaj last week, we've paid $10 for the copy. Right? So that's how much, that's the cost price that we paid for it. So we are asking you in purchasing it, if you want to give a little extra than the 10, the $20 bill looks nice, so that if you want to do that, and the extra will come towards the upkeep and upliftment of the Mandir. So copies are available, and the Mandir follows those celebrations and observances in terms of the dates. So you could get yourselves a copy. You could give it as a gift to somebody who may be visiting from abroad, or somebody you're thinking, what could I give them for Christmas? You can give them a religious calendar, right? And it's something that they will utilize for the entire year. So think about it. Copies are available at the back. Yoga classes will take place tomorrow from 5:30 upstairs of the annex. So we ask you to please join the class, or those who are continuing students be reminded of the class. Classes also continue in music throughout the week, and dance. So there are dance classes on Tuesday, there's music class on a Thursday, there's also Bharatiya Vidya Sansthan classes on a Saturday. So classes are ongoing throughout the week, so you can avail yourself of those classes. Those of you who are celebrating birthdays or anniversaries, we want to extend congratulations to you. Auntie Samde is celebrating her birthday on the 28th and started to perform Hawan this morning. So we want to extend birthday greetings to Auntie Samde on her birthday that is upcoming. Yes, give her a round of applause. Anybody else celebrating the birthdays this week or anniversaries? Sanjeev is the 27th, so we extend birthday greetings to him. And we, on behalf of the Mandir, want to extend congratulations to one of our own, Mr. Amral Prasad, who would have been engaged in holy matrimony yesterday. His Vivah Sanskar was performed, and he's married a beautiful doctor, Danelle Cardenas. So we want to congratulate Amral and Danelle on their marriage. Yes, please give them a round of applause. Finally, and I'm concluding with a reminder of next week's Sunday's event, and it's a big event. We look forward to having you all with us. Please share the invitation, Gita Jayanti. We start at 8:30 our regular service, and we move straight into the recitation of Bhagavad Gita. All of the families, you know who you are, and we will be having a special speaker as well next week. The children's class will be performing an item as well, and lunch will be served once we conclude. So please come and join with us as we celebrate this wonderful occasion. This concludes our announcements this morning. Thank you all very much. Let us all now stand for Arati and closing prayer.
Om Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Bhakt Jano ke sankat, Das Jano ke sankat, Shan mein dur kare. Om Jai Jagadish Hare,
शरण गहो किसकी, तुम बिन और न दूजा, तुम बिन और न दूजा, आश करो जिसकी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम पूरन परमात्मा, तुम सबके स्वामी। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम करुणा के सागर, तुम पालन करता, स्वामी तुम पालन करता, हम सेवक तुम स्वामी, हम सेवक तुम स्वामी, कृपा करो भरता। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, तुम हो एक अगोचर, सबके प्राणपति, स्वामी सबके प्राणपति। किस विधि मिलो दया में, किस विधि मिलो दया में, तुमको मैं कुमति। ओम जय जगदीश हरे, दीन बंधु दुख हरता, तुम रक्षक मेरे, स्वामी तुम रक्षक मेरे। अपने हाथ उठाओ, अपने हाथ उठाओ, द्वार पर
As we conclude our puja and our satsang this morning, we come before you, Prabhu, as your children with all humility and love, seeking your blessing, your inspiration and your guidance. We ask you to bless us, those of us who are experiencing difficulty in some way through illness or through the loss of a loved one, that you give us that strength and that courage and that solace that is needed at this time. For those of us who are afflicted in some way by illness, we ask you to make us whole once more. For those individuals who are engaged in acts of criminality or deviant behavior, we ask you to redirect their mind and their actions away from that pathway and to those that lead to you. For you are mother and father, you are family, you are friend, you are knowledge, you are wealth, you are everything to us. We pray. Tvameva mata cha pita tvameva Tvameva bandhu cha seka tvameva Tvameva vidya dravinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Om asatu ma sadgamaya tamasu ma jyotirgamaya mrityurma amritam gamaya Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om. प्रेम से बोले श्री गणेश भगवान की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, आज शक्ति जगदम्बा देवी मैया की जय, श्री पवन पुत्र हनुमान की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, श्री सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय. Chintu around you, sab koi jai jai Sitaram. It has been brought to my attention that there was inadvertently an error in a notice that has been circulating from the Mandir, which refers to Gita Jayanti being on Saturday next week, and that's wrong. It's Sunday. So it's Sunday the 30th, as I've been saying continuously this morning. So if you see the notice being sent with that little typographical error, please disregard the Saturday. It's Sunday the 30th, and please share that information as well. Please do enjoy the rest of your day. Have a very safe, powerful, and productive week ahead. And we look forward to seeing you all with us again on Sunday for Gita Jayanti. Sitaram.